Vivek Chudamani, presented by Svayam Prakash Sharma, Part 9. Part 9 consists of verses 235 to 257, in which the Guru tells about the superimpositions on Brahm as well as the jiva that lead to duality and how that duality can be removed. Vivek Chudamani. The Guru tells the disciple, Brahm is existence, Brahm is knowledge, Brahm is infinity, Brahm is supreme, self-existent, eternal and indivisible bliss. Brahm is not different in reality from the individual soul. It is devoid of both interior and exterior. It has no interior, it has no exterior. Brahm is always victorious. Remember that it is this supreme oneness, that it is this Brahm alone which is real. Since there is nothing else but Brahm, since there is nothing else but the Atma, everything except the Atma is just an appearance. This entire universe, because of ignorance, appears as if it is of diverse forms. This entire universe is nothing else but Brahm, which is absolutely free from all the limitations of human thought. An earthen jar, though it is just a modification of clay, is not different from the clay from which it is made. Everywhere, the jar is essentially the same as the clay. Then, why do we call it a jar? Jar is just a name that we have given to the clay, which is in that shape or form. No one can prove that the essence of the jar is something other than clay, which is the material it is made of. Therefore, the jar is merely imagined as being separate from clay through delusion, and the component clay alone is the abiding reality in respect of the jar. In the same way, the whole universe, being the effect of the real Brahm, is in reality nothing but Brahm, and the whole universe does not exist apart from Brahm. Whosoever says that it does, that person is still under delusion, and he babbles incoherently like a person in sleep. The universe is indeed Brahm. Such is the august pronouncement of the Atharvaved. Therefore, the universe is nothing but Brahm, because that which is superimposed on something, that has no separate existence from its substratum on which it is superimposed. If the universe as it were to be real, if the universe as it were thought to be real, then there would be no stoppage to the dualistic element. Then the world would never be eliminated, and duality with all its ugly features would persist. In which case, the scriptures would be falsified, and the Lord himself would be guilty of untruth. Therefore, none of these three is considered either desirable or wholesome by the noble-minded. The Lord, who knows the secret of all things, because he is omniscient, because he is all-knowing, he has also supported this view in the Gita, where he says, "But I am not in the beings, nor are the beings in me." If this universe were to be true, then it should also be perceived in the state of deep sleep. But since it is not at all perceived in that state, it must be unreal and false. Therefore, the universe does not exist apart from the Paramatma. And the perception of the separateness of the universe is false. Just like the qualities of blueness, etc., that are seen in the sky are also false. Has a superimposed attribute any meaning apart from its substratum? It is the substratum which appears like the superimposition because of delusion, just as the rope appears as a snake because of delusion. Whatever a deluded person perceives through mistake, that in fact is Brahm and Brahm alone. The silver that we see in the mother of pearl is nothing but the mother of pearl itself. It is Brahm which is always considered as this universe, whereas that which is superimposed on Brahm, namely the universe, is just a name. Hence, whatever is manifested, namely this universe, is the supreme Brahm itself, the real, the one without a second, pure, the essence of knowledge, taintless, serene, devoid of beginning and end, beyond activity, the essence of bliss absolute, transcending all diversities that are created by Maya or intense ignorance, eternal, always beyond the reach of pain, indivisible, immeasurable, formless, undifferentiated, nameless, immutable, and self-luminous. Sages realize that truth. Sages realize that Brahm, in which there is no differentiation of knower, of knowledge, and of the known, and which is infinite, which is transcendent, and which is the essence of knowledge absolute. Because it is not a material thing, it cannot be thrown away, nor can it be taken up. It is beyond the reach of mind and of speech. It is immeasurable. It cannot be measured. It is without beginning and without end. It is the whole. It is complete in all respects. It is one's own very Atma, and it is of unsurpassed glory. If therefore the Shruti in the dictum Tat Tvam Asi, or you are that, repeatedly establishes the identity of Brahm or Ishvara, denoted by Tat or that, and Jeev denoted by the word Tvam or you, then if we take away the terms of relative association from both Jeev and Ishwar, then it is the identity of their implied, not their literal meaning, that is sought to be inculcated. For they are attributes contradictory to each other, like the sun and the glowworm, like a king and a servant, like the ocean and a well, or like Mount Meru and a tiny atom. This contradiction between them is created by superimposition, and it is not something that is real. This superimposition in the case of Ishwar or the Lord is Maya or intense ignorance, which is the cause of Mehet, and the rest, the grosser manifestations that proceed from Mehet. And in the case of Jiva, the individual soul, it consists of the 5 sheaths, which are the effects of Maya. These two are the superimpositions of Ishwar and Jeev, respectively. And when these two superimpositions are completely eliminated, then there is neither Ishwar nor is there a jiva. As a kingdom is the symbol of a king and a shield is the symbol of a soldier, and when these symbols are taken away from both the king and the soldier, then there is neither king nor is there soldier, there is just man. Similarly, if we take away omniscience, if we take away omnipotence and the like from Ishwar, and if we take away the deficiencies of knowledge, of power and so on from the jiva, then only Brahm remains as the substance of both. The Vedas themselves in the words, now then, is this injunction and so on, repudiate the duality that is imagined in Brahm. One needs to eliminate these two superimpositions by means of realization supported by the authority of the Veda. Neither is this gross universe the Atma, nor is this subtle universe the Atma. Since they are both imagined, they are not real. Like the snake that is seen in the rope, and like the dreams that are seen in sleep, which are also not real. Completely eliminating the objective world in this way, by means of reasoning, a person should then realize the oneness that underlies both Ishwar and Jiva. Therefore, these two terms, Ishwar and Jiva, must be carefully considered through their implied meaning so that their absolute identity may be established. Neither the method of total rejection nor the method of complete retention will do. One must reason out through the process which combines the two. In the sentence, this is that Devdat, the identity of the person is spoken of, eliminating the contradictory portions such as the differences of time, of place, of name and the like. Similarly, in the sentence, you are that, the wise man must give up the contradictory elements of both the individual soul, which is you, and of Ishwar, which is that Brahm, and recognize the identity of both Jiva and Ishwar, noticing carefully the essence of both, which is the same, that is, knowledge absolute. In this way, hundreds of scriptural texts inculcate the oneness of the identity of Jiva and Brahm, inculcate the oneness, inculcate the idea that Jiva and Brahm are one. Eliminating the not self, eliminating what is not the Atma, in the light of such passages as it is not gross, it is not subtle, and so on, one realizes the Atma, which is self-established, which is unattached like the sky, and which is beyond the range of thought. Therefore, dismiss this mere phantom of the body, which you see and which you have accepted as your own Atma. By means of the purified understanding that you are that Brahm, realize your own Atma, the knowledge absolute. All the modifications of clay, such as a jar, which are always accepted by the mind as real, are in reality nothing but clay. In the same way, this entire universe, which is produced from the real Brahm, is Brahm itself, and nothing but that Brahm. And that Brahm is the only self existent reality, our very own Atma. Therefore, you are that serene, that supreme Brahm, the one without a second. Just as the place, the time, the objects, the knower, and so on that are seen in dreams, they are all unreal. So too is the world experienced here in the waking state also unreal, since it is all an effect of one's own ignorance. Because this body, the organs, the pranas, egoism, etc., are also unreal in this way. Therefore, are you that serene, that pure, that supreme Brahm, the one without a second? What is wrongly thought to exist in something is, when the truth about it has been known, nothing but that substratum and not at all different from it. The diversified dream universe appears as well as passes away in the dream itself. Does it appear on waking as something distinct from one's own Atma? That which is beyond caste and creed, that which is beyond family and lineage, that which is beyond name and form, that which is beyond merit and demerit, that which transcends space, time, and the sense objects. You are that Brahm. Meditate on this in your mind. That supreme Brahm, which is beyond the range of all speech, but which is accessible to the eye, of pure illumination, which is pure, which is the embodiment of knowledge, which is the beginningless entity. You are that Brahm. Meditate on this in your mind. That which is untouched by the sixfold wave of decay, of death, of hunger, of thirst, of grief, and of delusion, all of which overtake both the body and the mind. That which is meditated by the yogi's heart, but not grasped by the sense organs, which the intellect cannot know, and which is unimpeachable. You are that Brahm. Meditate on this in your mind. That which is the substratum of the universe, with its various subdivisions, all of which are creations of delusion, which itself has no other support, which is distinct from both the gross and the subtle, which has no parts and has verily no other like it. You are that Brahm. Meditate on this in your mind. Yes, you are that Brahm. Meditate on this in your mind. This concludes part 9 of Vivek Chudamani. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.